We're going to break down 12 popular altcoins. Some of them you might be invested in. Some of them you might not. Some of them are worth investing in. Some of them are not. But we are going to break this down today in Operation Altcoin List. There are thousands, literally thousands of crypto coins out there. Most of them are duds, and most of them are going to go to zero. However, there's some really popular altcoins we're going to break down, starting with EOS on this list. Are you invested in EOS? Well, EOS is DApps, decentralized apps, building a platform. There's really a good use case for this. I used to be invested in EOS, and I'm not anymore. I don't believe in this project as much as I once did. Now, it might come to fruition, but the problem with most crypto coins and most of these projects, a lot of talk, a lot of hype, little action on a lot of them. Some of them are doing more than others. I think EOS is probably going to do okay, and that's why I'm going to give them a B. We'll go ahead and put them in the B category. But realistically, if you study this project and look at their performance, look at their projections, look at what it's doing, I'm seeing a lot more hype than I'm seeing action in a lot of areas. So the best I can give EOS is a B. Like I said, I used to be invested. I no longer believe in this project, and I'm no longer invested. I'm going to be transparent and let you know what I am and am not invested in, so I can be fair and not just tell you which ones I think are the best, because I hate it when crypto channels do that, technology channels, etc. So we're going to break this down. Atom, A-T-O-M, Atom, Atom Bomb, Cosmos. You know about Cosmos? Well, basically, projects to solve the hardest problems facing the blockchain. That's literally self-prescribed. How they try to position themselves is the hardest problems facing the blockchain and looking at slow, environmentally harmful proof-of-work protocols. So, if those of you who don't know, you got proof of work, proof of stake, and actually there's a few other options. Proof of work would be something like Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is the OG of that. And these guys are trying to solve this problem. Now, there's a lot of other cryptos that are solving this problem. I personally, now this coin has been around for a long time. I think it's been around for about 7 years at the time of this. And they've been doing a lot. They've made some progress, but it's not really a coin I believe in, to be honest with you. I'm going to give this one a D. I'm not impressed. I'm not a fan. I like their concept and what they're trying to do, but I feel like they're trying to build a hype machine. And it's the same thing you see with a lot of science projects where they try to solve impossible problems, and that way they can get funded for 50 years and no one really questions them. So I'm just not on board. Maybe they'll do something, maybe they won't, but I'm going to give them a D. I'm not super impressed, to be honest with you. Enjin, Ninja, not Ninja, Enjin. An ecosystem incorporated blockchain-based gaming, social, and gaming platform. Now, we live in a world where everything wants to have their own chain. Everything wants to blockchain. We're building our own ecosystem. We're building our own platform. These are all buzzwords. I'm also not a big fan of this project. To be honest with you, I'm going to also give it a D. In all fairness, I will shed my bias a little bit because I'm not a gamer. So with these gaming things, I can't really get on board. I don't really believe in them. A lot of these projects are trying to make sustainable games on the blockchain, and they're trying to make I saw one the other day that said, make blockchain games fun again. Like, when weren't they? When did they even? I mean, there's very few. So you look at sustainability, you look at the future of these. I don't really believe in this token. I'm going to give it a D. I'm not invested. I actually had a chance to invest early in this one. I saw it coming. And keep in mind, guys, you can't be in all of them. I mean, even billionaires will pick a handful of cryptos or a handful of stocks. So don't get shiny object syndrome and try to be all of them. This could really blow up. And listen, I'll probably be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. If you're invested, I hope I'm wrong. I hope you're like, oh, you said it was a D and it 10Xs or 100Xs in value. That's awesome. Good for you. I hope you make all the money in the world. But for me, this is my list, and these are projects that I don't believe in. And so for me, this one's a D at best. Fantom. Are you invested in Fantom? Now, Fantom is interesting. It's a DAG, D-A-G, smart contract platform, DeFi, serving with its own bespoke consensus algorithm. Again, whenever you're looking at these things and whenever you're looking at how they identify themselves and how they, smart, everything, there's a lot of buzzwords in crypto because they try to make them seem like they're doing more than they are. Now, Fantom actually, in my opinion, is going to make some big moves. I was invested in Fantom, not super early, but definitely early enough to where it is probably 6 or 8, maybe even, I think 6 or 8x since I got in. And some people got in super early. It's like 100x, right? But I wasn't in ridiculously early. But I think Fantom has a lot of promise. Obviously, the DeFi space is under attack by governments worldwide right now, but I think there's a big future in DeFi. I think obviously smart contracts is definitely the future. Fantom, for me, I'm going to have to go ahead and give it an A. It's not quite S tier, and there's some things I got to see it be S tier as far as being adopted and, you know, the use cases and where it's going. But I think it's well on its way, and I think Fantom personally is an A. But again, I want to make sure, you know, I'm transparent and let you guys know that I am invested in it as well. So it is what it is. Gala, G-A-L-A, gives player control over their games in blockchain games you actually want to play. Again, this is that thing where blockchain games you want to play, crypto-based, chain-based, ecosystem, platform-based games, the whole gaming thing. I've looked into this one. I'm probably less impressed with this one than the last one. I'm going to give this one an F. I don't like it at all. It's actually trending the right direction. And keep in mind, you might think, Cody, you're giving these gaming ones Ds and Fs. The problem with the gaming coins, and we've seen this before, a lot of you are newer to crypto, so maybe you haven't seen this, but these gaming ones have a very strong tendency to go from 0 to hero and hero to 0 in about a 2-year span. And it's the same thing with games. And the problem with a lot of these gaming coins is we've seen a bunch of them blow up and then fall apart because people get tired of games quickly. I mean, there was a time when some of the biggest channels on social media were like Minecraft or, you know, some of these other goofy games. And then it all kind of fell apart. You look at like Roblox and like these kids playing these things. The next thing you know, it's 1/10 of as big as it, used to be. So my biggest problem with investing in these gaming things is they come and go so quickly, and I just don't believe in it. So I'm going to give it an F. Hopefully I'm wrong. Let me know down below if you think it's better than an F. But for me, I'm just not seeing it. I think it's going to be here today, gone tomorrow. And that's what I think. That's what I think. But what do I think about Chainlink? Chainlink is a very big one. And Chainlink, Chainlink is becoming a staple. Chainlink is becoming one that people have an incredible belief in. Blockchain abstraction layer that enables universally, basically, if you connect blockchains universally and you look at Chainlink and linking different projects, and you look at how these blockchains and these ecosystems are trying to structure themselves to become the core. So in yesterday's video, in part 1 of this, when I talked about 20 cryptos, if you haven't seen that, go check out yesterday's video as well. I talked about 20 of the most popular cryptos. Some are really good, some are really bad. And I got a lot of controversy on that video, so check it out. Let me know what you think. But I will say that when you look at Link and when you look at these things like Ethereum, you look at Cardano, you look at Solana, you look at Quant, you look at all these different ones who are trying to be that core fundamental project. I think Chainlink is going to stick around. I think Chainlink is going to add serious value. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not invested in Chainlink personally. I'm just not a fan. It's just simply not for me. It's not something I wanted to be in. But do I think it's going to do well? Yeah, I really do think it's going to do well. I think Chainlink is probably an A. I think Chainlink has definitely been overhyped by a lot of people trying to pump it. I'm not sure. I think there's still room to grow in Chainlink. But keep in mind, guys, until some things change in crypto, there's not enough money to really blow some of these up. When we're talking about, $2.5 trillion, it's a lot of money. But as more coins come in, these projects keep getting diluted. People keep taking money out of projects that aren't doing anything and put it in new projects. Hopefully they'll go to the moon. And so we're seeing a lot of projects that used to be a lot bigger or that would probably be bigger, but people are pulling their money because nothing's happening. This is why I keep telling you to invest in projects that actually make something happen. Now, to be fair, I think Chainlink has a big future, but all these projects kind of got to pick up the pace or they're just going to lose market cap, lose market share. And crypto is completely driven by marketing, by social media, by platforms like Reddit, by platforms like video platforms. So if you don't have hype behind them, it's just simply not going to happen. I think Link's an A, but I'm really not all that interested. And there's other projects that I think could go head to head with them. But we'll see what happens. And may the best platform win. And, hopefully everyone makes money in the process. You invest in whatever you want to invest in. I'm just telling you what I do. Next one is DBC, DeepBrain Chain. DeepBrain Chain. That's actually a good name for what's going on right now. And it is infinitely scalable. Now, that is a claim. And they claim on multiple occasions they're infinitely scalable and they're in the 5G and AI technology. Now, again, my problem with Deep Chain Brain is you're trying to attack the problem of the day. You're trying to attack, like, when Web 2.0 was blown up and when the apps were blown up, people were trying to grab the low-hanging fruit. And I feel like with DeepBrain Chain, they're trying to grab the low-hanging fruit. I do see promise with this project. I'm not invested because I don't really believe in it. There are other projects that are solving bigger problems, more important problems that can actually have some sustainability. You know, I think DeepBrain Chain, DBC, is a C at best. And I think that's almost a little generous just because it, you know, first of all, I'm not a fan of 5G. So, and then AI, I'm only a fan of AI under certain circumstances. Obviously, being a privacy advocate, there are ways you can utilize AI and even, you know, things like the metaverse and AR to your advantage if done properly. But again, it's got to be done properly. And things like KYC, things like the Patriot Act and these other things get in the way. DeepBrain Chain, I just don't see it adding any value to anything that I'm interested in. And so I'm going to give it a C to be fair, but for me, I'm definitely not invested and have no interest in it. ICP, not Insane Clown Posse, but actually ICP is a blockchain that runs at web speed with unbound web capacity. Now, I've been invested in ICP semi-early, but I got to admit, I've lost a little bit of faith. I am invested in ICP. I'm not as big of a proponent of it as I once was because, again, I just haven't been impressed with some of the things that have been happening. So I'm going to give it a C. Even though I'm invested in it, I'm going to give it a C to be fair. But really, I could see myself pulling my investment and putting something that's more interesting. I got in, I won't say super early, but reasonably early, so I'm definitely way up on it. But I don't know. We'll see if I stick around ICP. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Let me know what you think. And again, there's always people who are just stuck to this project until it goes to the moon or until it goes to zero. There's always people in the comments like, it's going to go 1,000x. No, it's not. Clearly, math is not your is not your forte because a lot of people in the crypto space severely lack mathematical skills because you have to look at a few numbers to realize that some of these things are not going to go where you want them to go unless trillions magically pour in. I mean, there's people that are saying this coin's going to go to $5 and it would have to be 3 times bigger than the entire crypto market. Like, it's just stupid. So we'll see what happens. You know, maybe in the next 5 years, something will happen, but I'm going to give it a C. DigiByte, open source blockchain and asset creation platform. Now, this one I'm surprisingly bullish on. I was in super early. It is still pretty affordable, but I think there's a big upside on DigiByte. I'm going to give it an A. Again, I'm not super pumped on some of the things at DigiByte. And, you know, if you have a open source, that's always key. And I like DigiByte. I think there's a lot of value. I think there's a lot of promise. I think there's a lot of potential. Like I said, I've got a decent sized stake in DigiByte, but I'm going to give it an A. It's not quite S tier. I don't think it's anywhere near S tier, to be honest with you, but I think it's a solid project. And I think it's worth you taking a look at, in my opinion. But again, keep that in mind that it's just my opinion. You do whatever you want to do. Terra Luna is something that gets spammed in the comments more times than a computer can count. So Terra Luna protocol that uses fiat peg stablecoins to power price stable global payment system, fast and affordable settlements. Now, Terra Luna, and if you look at, in my yesterday's video, I talked about Anchor and I talked about some of the other projects. I think I'm invested in Terra Luna. I absolutely am. I don't have a large position, but I do have a position in Terra Luna. And I think Terra Luna, because of what it's doing, while I'm not like over the moon about the technology, I don't think it's the most important technology in the world. The efficiency, the use case, the usability, I think I'm going to go ahead and put it in the S tier because on the investment side, I think it's going to continuously do big things. I've seen substantial growth, and I think I'm going to keep seeing substantial growth in Terra Luna. And so while I am Yeah, I think I'm going to put it in the S tier just because I think there's a lot of value there. And I think sometimes it can't just be a project that you're over the moon about. I mean, there's only a handful of crypto projects that I'm super excited about personally. Most of them, I have to look at the investment side. And even if it's a boring, there's a lot of companies that are really boring, but if they churn things out, that add value to people, then that's really all that matters. So, yeah, I'm going to give them S tier. Then we're going to talk about Quant. QNT, I'm 100% sure if you've been in crypto for more than 3 days, you've heard of them. Now, connecting blockchains to networks on a global scale blockchain operating system. This is what I was talking about. I am definitely in Quant. Again, I got a reasonable position, kind of like Terra Luna. They're not huge positions, but I am invested, and I do think there's value. I'm going to put it in the S tier just because between the hype and the technology, I'm hoping they can actually come to fruition and be all they think they're going to be. And, if you look at an actual blockchain operating system, if you look at the future of where Web3 is going, I think this plays a pivotal role personally. So I'm going to put an S tier because I believe in it and I think it's going to be there. And it's something where I've put my money up to back it up. And while, I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars in Quant, I do have a nice position in Quant. And I think that it is a good option. Dero, Dero. Whoa, here we go. Proof of work blockchain with DAG. Okay, so a lot of people talking about the DAG smart contracts. Block structure, anonymous transaction, and improve privacy coins. So I've invested in this one a little bit more recently, and I think it is something that has a lot of value. I get asked a lot of questions, and I'm going to go more in depth on this one in a upcoming privacy-centric, privacy-focused coin video. So we're going to talk about the most important privacy cryptos, not just the obvious ones like the Moneros and the pirate chains, but we're going to really dig deep into these. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already because we're going to get into that. Obviously, Dero is a S tier. That goes without saying. Anything that's trying to help privacy coins or the privacy community, I'm all in. That are actually taking action. There's a lot of imposters and a lot of people trying to use the privacy movement to sell things via marketing, but when you actually get in the ecosystem, there's very little privacy-based. But I can respect the company trying to add value. And I'm going to go ahead and put them in S tier. Let me know down below what you think of this list. I'm actually going to be doing a part 3 of these. There's one more. So I've done 2. This is 2. If you haven't seen 1, go watch 1. And we will have part 3 coming out at some point where I'm going to dig into some. So my first list was kind of more of the common coins. This list is a little bit more altcoins, but definitely up-and-comers. Some of them are a little bit more notable, like Link and Quant. Some of them are a little less notable. Depends on how deep you're in crypto. If you've been in crypto for 5 years, you've clearly heard of all these. But crypto is bringing on millions of new people every month who are researching and interested. So these are some decent altcoins. And then I'm going to do some really obscure, maybe a little bit more moonshot-ist type coins in part 3. Let me know if there's anything you want me to add to that list down below. And yeah, I appreciate you guys checking this out. Go all in everything you do. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up. Appreciate it here at PrivacyX. Privacy is right that needs to be protected. If you don't protect it, I don't protect it. You could bet the big governments and the corporations will not protect it. And with everything that's going on in the world, this is vital. You can also check us out over at privacyxproject.com. And I'll see you guys in the next video.